I used to hammock camp all the time. In the winter, it didn't matter. I used to get set up 2 inches off the ground. I got old videos about this. You can go ahead and search my channel. 2 inches off the ground, 1 foot away from my fire. And I would protect the front of the hammock from melting, from any embers and stuff, by laying my wool blanket over the front. And I was inside. I take the back and flip it over myself. I mean, we're talking 0 degrees, and I wouldn't even have a sleeping bag with me, because it allowed me to get up off the snow. So I was basically sleeping on the ground, right at the embers, getting heat, but I wasn't actually laying in the snow. It's pretty cool, man. I'm just glad to finally have a hammock again, because I miss it. Because it's super light, it's super compact, super small. This one has a bug net in it, just like a tent does. It's like a floating tent. But it's really versatile though, because I can be off the ground, which means I can stand over muddy situations, elevation. I can, sleep on hills. I mean, finding a good spot to sleep is very hard when you're in a tent and you're sleeping on the ground. I mean, you have to really work hard to find a spot that's nice and flat, no roots, no sticks, on and on and on, no rocks. It never ends. And actually, that's like a secret skill of tent camping, is that if you're not good at sighting it, you won't sleep well. It's awful. This literally removes that from the equation completely. Hammock camping is awesome. I really plan on using this a lot, and going places I used to camp. Like I used to camp on hills. I used to like to camp in strange places because it's more exciting. Instead of sleeping on a ledge or a saddle, like near a saddle on a ledge, or a shelf as it's called, next to a gorge. I can hang this on trees in the gorge, right near the bottom, like near a river or a stream. It's just awesome, And what's cool about this particular one, actually, that I recently picked up, is that it's also a bivvy. The bottom is waterproof. The bottom is waterproof. That means I can literally lay it on the ground, put a ridge line over me, prop up my net, my mosquito netting, and it's a little bivvy, a little tent on the ground now that I can crawl into. I mean, amazing. I could take my moisture barrier, put it right in front, which is what I'm going to do, and then I'll have like a little clean spot when I crawl out, put my boots on, all that stuff. I mean, it's going to be money. I can't wait, because I've never had one that could do that before. That's really cool. And I believe this has an extra layer underneath, so I can actually slide things inside. Say like my wool blanket, if I don't want it inside, I can put it in the middle, where I could take a sleeping pad. I have a lot of different sleeping pads, and I could slide that inside, and it encases it, and that way it's not moving around on me. Anyways, it's pretty neat. So Shane and Gary already left camp. I'm just hanging out, having some tea right now. I'm gonna go visit the old wagon trail and foundations and stuff in a minute. This woods are really interesting. There's an old wagon trail here, and like the original road from the British when they came here. Old foundations of cottages, houses and stuff, it's gone. There's like caves, like man-made structures, and they're just kind of lost in the woods out here. I mean, these woods are completely unbuilt up. There's nothing here. There's just remains of old things from hundreds of years ago. So I'm just finishing up some tea. I'm going to be drinking in a minute, and I'm going to go find some ruins. It's definitely an interesting spot of woods, that's for sure. In the middle of the forest here, there is an old wagon road, an old wagon trail. There's the road that was built later on. This is not just a path. This path is on an old trail. And actually the trail, the original road in this area, continues right here and goes right across the street, up there, up this hill, and cuts across and continues that way. I've walked it a little over there. It's very interesting. Now, all throughout here are ruins, hundreds of years old, from the Britons. There's clearly, sorry, bug line on my ear. There's clearly a corner right there. Corner to what? I'm not sure. Some pieces have fallen off, probably right there, because they're not as high. Crumbled to here. The wall goes here and then disappears, so I bet it goes like this, right up to the edge of that road. Certainly curious. And you can see a mound. This probably continues underneath the earth right here. On the side of the trail, the stagecoach road or wagon trail, again you can see rocks all through. I'm near the road, so you're going to hear cars and motorcycles maybe in the background. I can hear them. But this trail is used, this old road is still used today by hunters. I've met some of them on this trail. This is private land. I have permission by both owners because this ancient road, if you want to call a couple hundred years old ancient, crosses both of their land. Heads off in that direction. And right next to the road over here is some more ruins. It seems to be a foundation of a house. I love camping out here. And look at this, you can clearly see where it's been sculpted. You can clearly see where it's been sculpted. On this side of the road, again, someone's worked this. And it hasn't happened in a very long time. So there's one of the old house sites. That presumably was either the main driveway, right here, going into the house. And you can see wagons will be coming down here, head off in this direction as I go across, and you can turn right in, and back there some more stone. And it's speculation, you can see, I'll show you in a minute, it's cut this way, cut this way, cut this way. So it's possible that the house was a rectangle, the cottage, just like this. Well, probably would have been a log cabin back then, which is why there's no nothing remaining of the logs. I might be able to find, if it came with a metal detector, old handmade blacksmith nails that are popular, 1700's. It's also possible that this was the back of the house, because I mean, remember, this house probably owned everything. As far as the eye could see, it was the only house. And it's possible that the foundation went like this, and was open in the back, and the house, the cabin was built up that way, and the front driveway is up over there, comes to the road over here. And this was the basement. Maybe they had a way out the back. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd have to study it more and do some digs, and clear out the area, get a better understanding of the layout. But that can all be surmised with some work. Now, the closest house, or it's probably equal. There are two houses towards the end of this main road.
This is all land, basically. The whole, I mean, acres and acres. It's like 60 acres of just this. Foundations in the woods. And at least one of the houses, the older of the two, I believe, it's the land, the owner that owns all this now. That house, that is the oldest surviving house that's closest to the site. And that was built in 1798, and that's on the main road. So the main road, 1798, is the new house. The new house, 1798. So this wagon road would obviously predate that. So the British came here in like 1632. So that's 160 years that, basically almost 160 years that when they landed until they changed their classification to Americans. That was, you know, then the Revolutionary War happened, right? And so, you know, basically they woke up British. They're here for 150 years or so, and just under 140 years. And then, you know, they woke up British that day, went to bed American, and a war ensued. There were wars before that, the Indian Wars, with the Wampanoags, Narragansett, things like that. Literally on this land, all in this area. And so this area was, of the Northeast, was settled from the early 1600s on. Again, the newest house is 1798, so this could be anywhere after that. I know that Plymouth is the first area that they landed here, and that's when the first official, you know, wagon trail, first official road existed, Main Street in Plymouth, and that was early 1600s. So I'm not sure the dating on this, but it's certainly old. It's pre-1790s. Old stuff back here. Okay, let's continue on. We'll do a little more scouting of this. I really like the idea that there's old sites back here, and all along there's like rocks that probably would have been stacked along the edge of the road. These trees are too young. They would have been gone. And that's the thing, if you look at a lot of the trees here, they're all like the same age, right? They're all the same age, because the house that was here, standing right there, they cleared it all. Then all the trees started growing after. So most of the trees in this forest are young. And it looks like to me that they either planted those, because look at that. That's not normal, right? That's not normal. And those pines grew really healthy and straight, because they probably had, from that point on, no, I mean, that looks like the front gate or something to the house. They probably had no competition. They cleared everything here. That's why all the other trees around them are smaller. And then they planted those. Maybe they took pines and moved them there, 2 little saplings. It's very easy to do. So these little pines come from the mother trees, the father trees. These pines right there, those little ones, you can just dig them up, take the whole root ball and you know, replant them. Transplanting is very easy to do. You can see that the road goes that way, and either they planted those trees or they left them there and they didn't cut those two, and that happens to be a natural occurrence. But it probably isn't, because that just seems far too likely to me. This seems to be like this was probably another way into their house. Maybe this was the actual front driveway and the other was the back, like I explained. You can see that they have a wall that they built out of stone. Right there. Very easily seen. Goes up in here. Big wall. Big stone wall. And a road continues that way. And right here on this edge is the top of this hill. And that's where that foundation is. Now if you turn around right here, you'll see some more old stone walls. Comes to a corner right there and heads off that way. So it's very interesting, it really is. There's a lot of history here. The wall goes right there. There's another corner, continues on, and so on. I mean, I could just go through these woods and find these sites. They're everywhere. And here's what I was talking about, where the foundation for the house was. So this is a dugout area, and it has a in and out right here. That's where that driveway was. And it's really dug in. So either the house was up against this hill, or this was the basement. And the width of the house was from that hill, which might be all rocks, to this hill. And there's the floor. There's the ground floor. They walk in the house up there. Ground floor. That's the basement. Maybe you can get there from the back. Maybe not. I don't know. And the house would be right here, going across. The roof would be higher, up in this space right here. Certainly some intriguing sites back here. There's a lot of history here. This is why I like camping here. Just because it's unique. It's not just, you know, spot of wood, spot of land that doesn't have anything going for it, as in, you know, it's just woods behind someone's house or something. You know, this is a huge piece of land. And I have access to all of it. And I like setting up. There's a camp down the hill that has some benches built up, and it's really cool. A friend of mine built it. So that's where I like to stay for one of my camps. I have several camps I use out here. So it's been Mitch with Native Survival. Hope you enjoyed this little walk. Show you some ruins, a lot of intriguing geological setups here. You know, the walls, corners, walls that are built in to earth walls, potential cellars, other walls that could be animal corrals maybe. I don't know, just speculation until it's studied. Hope you enjoyed this trip. I sure did. See you guys and girls at YouTube on the next video. See ya.